So, Boo Radley is like a mockingbird. Boo is innocent, pure of heart, and kind, and he may have been mentally ill or mentally challenged, and he was most likely mistreated by his father and brother. And that's why he is the mockingbird. Now, first, the materials I use is paper that I found with designs on it, coffee filter that I cut up, some more paper that I found, some sticks and some like jean material, some little flowers, and a bird. So, in To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus tells his children that it's a sin to kill a mockingbird. As Miss Maudie explains, mockingbirds don't do anything for us but make music for us to enjoy. Boo did many things for the benefit and enjoyment of Jem and Scout. In fact, Boo Radley ultimately saved the lives of Jem and Scout. There are so many examples of Boo's kindness and innocence. For example, when Jem entered the Radley yard and his pants got stuck on the fence and Jem went back to retrieve him, his pants were only neatly folded there on the fence, but had been mended, which I put there. When Jem and Scout started school and walked past the Radley place, they began to find little surprises for them left in the knot in a tree. And that's here. These are the symbols. I put the soap dolls. And they began to find little surprises for them not in the tree. First they found pieces of gum, then coins, and finally amazing soap carvings that were carved to look like them. The author Harper Lee gives clues about the character throughout little stories told by other characters in the story about Boo and his family members. According to neighborhood legend, Boo Radley was a wild teen who got in trouble with the law after hanging out with the Cunninghams. Mr. Radley felt so disgraced by Boo's actions that he essentially locked Boo up in his home for 15 years. And to understand how horrible it must have been for Boo, you have to understand how mean Mr. Radley was. In fact, one day, on the day of Mr. Radley's death, Calpurnia, who never said anything about white people, said, "There goes the meanest man God ever blew breath into." Another clue in the story about Boo Radley cutting up the newspaper and stabbing his father in the leg. But when the police came, Boo was still focused on cutting up the newspaper. Boo was housed in the county jail for a while, and it was suggested that Boo be placed in an asylum for the mentally ill. His father would not have that, and finally had to be encouraged to take Boo home from jail. Even after Mr. Radley's death, Boo did not come out of his home. His mean brother, Nathan Radley, kept Boo inside and tried to remove any joy that he would have had. One example of this is when Nathan filled the knot hole in the tree with cement so he could no longer leave gifts for Jem and Scout. And on the fall night, the Boo comes out of the house and protects Jem and Scout from certain death at the hands of Bob Buell. He did so out of kindness and innocence. Boo carries the limp body of Jem back to Jem's house and waits standing in the dark area of the home to see that Jem is okay. He doesn't speak, but he gestures and quietly waits and obeys all directions. Ultimately, Mr. Tate tells Atticus that Bob Buell is dead and that he was killed by a knife. And Atticus thinks that Jem did it and need to be held accountable under the law. But Mr. Tate tells him that it was actually Boo who has protected the children and killed Mr. Yule. But that it would be pointless to prosecute the innocence of Boo Radley. Atticus acknowledges and accepts to put the innocence of Boo Radley through public trial would be pointless and cruel and to ruin him, because he knows deep down he was a kind and innocent soul, because he was a mockingbird, and that's why I put a mockingbird, and I put him right there from the movie, and I put the little